Hi again, lovely people. This week I thought it would be quite nice to do a sort of what I've been reading recently rundown. These are all books which I've read, I have thoughts on, but not enough thoughts to make like a full video on each one. So I thought I'd just do like a little rundown and have a chat.
Okay,
so first up on book chat we have Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West by Gregory Maguire. I hauled this in my birthday haul. I said I was reading it and I'd give you my thoughts when I'm done. I'm done! I definitely enjoyed it. It was definitely not what I was expecting, but I would say in a good way. Obviously musical to book very different. There was nowhere near the focus on the Elphaba-Glinda relationship slash friendship that I was expecting. Instead there was like this wider experience of Oz, and Oz as a place with multiple different races, and about the complex politics of it, and I found that really interesting. I really liked the whole political focus actually, but at the same time I don't think I'm gonna buy the second one. I think if someone I knew had the second one and was like, do you want to read it, then I would, but I don't think I'm going to go out of my way to own it. Like if it's in the library I might pick it up, but there was a lot of detail, but at the same time there was a slight lack for me. And I don't know if that's just there were questions I wanted answered that weren't answered, and maybe they are answered in the sequel. I don't know. There was a lot to it, but also at the same time I felt a bit wanting at the end, and I don't know why that is. So I enjoyed it. I think it's good. I don't think I'm going to continue with the series unless they're at the library or something like that, I think. Something which I read recently which I really liked is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. This is where the West Country accent stumbles me because I really pronounce my R's. But this is a book of poetry. People have been raving about it on BookTube. I bought it specifically because everyone's been going on about it, but specifically Virginia Woolf, who is one of my favourite booktubers. Like, you know, you have those channels that are a little bit like BookTube goals, and you're just like, oh, you. She's fantastic. Her lipstick choices are fantastic. The books that she reads are fantastic. It's just like a little channel of fantasticness. And she read this, and in her review just kept saying about how much she connected to it and how amazing it was. So I decided that I was gonna buy it. First of all, I really love this as an experience. Like, it's matte and just lovely. I've smudged it quite a bit, which makes me sad, but I think it's gorgeous. There were some poems just like I read and I was just like, yes. It didn't take me heart and soul 100% completely, but I had certain poems where I was just like, oh my god, yes, this poem. It's not like poetry how you would classically think of poetry. It's much more that sort of new type of poetry where, you know, if you look at this, like, it's quite simple and sparse, and it's paired with visuals a lot, and it's split into like 4 sections, and you do get taken on like a journey of emotion while you go through them, and I think it's lovely. I can totally see how it's not everyone's poetry cup of tea, but personally for me, I did thoroughly really like it. Continuing on the poetry theme, I also read The Hall Lantern by Seamus Heaney. I love Seamus Heaney. He's one of my favourite poets, one of my favourite writers ever. This I picked up just second-hand. It was like £2, and I always want more Seamus in my life. I really, really liked this. I find Seamus Heaney's poetry so affecting and so powerful, and there was a sequence of poems in this which really had that same effect on me again, called Clearances. I think they were written about the death of his mother, and it's a whole sequence of poems, and those in particular just really like got me. Also, there's a poem called The Mud Vision, which I'm pretty sure this is not intentional, but to me, I read it in a very science fiction-y manner. It's about like this sort of like vision that appears, like the mud vision. You can get like a sense And I think it's all about like belief and stuff like this, but in my head, I read it very science fiction-y, and it reminded me a lot of Viraconium by John M. Harrison. And I think this is my brain taking it and like running places that weren't supposed to be there, but that was just an extra thing I had. Seamus's death was such like a sad loss to the poetry world. He was just incredible. So I'm really trying to consume as much of his work as I can, and this was just really fantastic. Following on from that, I want to talk about The Strawberry Girl by Lisa Strom. This was another book that I won from Penguin Platform in their monthly giveaway thing. Again, I'll link below, it's really good. This was really interesting. I quite enjoyed it. It's about Edvard Munch, who is not a painter who I previously have particularly explored or considered. Like, obviously, like, the Scream is iconic, we all know of it. But I've never seen any of his other work, and I haven't known anything about him, and I've not been particularly interested in knowing anything about him. Not in a purely negative way, it's just things you don't think of. It's about an island in Norway, whose name I cannot even begin to pronounce, because I'm very sorry I don't know how to do it. Which was an island that a lot of painters went to and painted, and the main character is Johanna, and she was the subject of this painting by someone else called The Strawberry Girl. And the book essentially focuses on this summer where she goes to work for this rich family. The youngest daughter of this family is really fascinated by Edvard Munch, as is our protagonist, who also like dabbles in painting. And it just sort of, events take place, and as they take place, you also learn more about Munch's paintings and all that sort of thing. I, from a quick Wikipedia, don't think it's super historically accurate. I think because she wanted to include the Scream to make it more interesting and accessible to people, she sort of shuffled events around and all stuff like this. So essentially, if you're wanting like a historically accurate book about Edvard Munch's life, don't read it. If you're wanting to get a sense of what Munch as a painter is about, do read it. Because I really feel like I have a much better understanding of his work and of the sense of his work than I did before. Yeah, I think I gave it a solid 3 out of 5 on Goodreads because I thought it was a good book. I wasn't blown away by it, but I am really glad I read it because I have like this better understanding and appreciation of this painter who I didn't really know anything about. So that was pretty cool. Next up we have Letters to My Daughter by Maya Angelou, which was also in my birthday haul, and this book, I have so many feelings about this book. It's wonderful. I kind of want Maya Angelou to just like sit down with me and just like tell me her advice. So I read this book on a train going to Manchester, and I felt like I was travelling to Manchester and my life was just being enriched. Sometimes train journeys feel like this like loss of time because you just have to like sit for like, in this case, like 4 hours, and you just have to just be on a train. Whereas I felt like this time, I was on this train, I was travelling to Manchester, and in the time it took for me to get from Bristol to Manchester, I just got enriched as a human being from reading this book. Because I don't actually agree with everything she says. There's a couple of like lessons where, like, about her views on like nose piercings and tattoos and stuff like that. Like, I have tattoos and I used to have my nose pierced, so like, I'm not anti them. But like, on the whole, that's just like really finicky. On the whole, she's just full of this wisdom and this I was just blown away. Maya Angelou, you were fantastic. I got 2 pages in and I was already just like, wow. Because she goes, you may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. Already, I want someone to make, like, you know, those snazzy graphics on Tumblr where it's just like, blah, 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 blah. I want one of those that I can just, like, stick on my wall and just, in times of hardship, I can just draw upon Angelou and be like, yes, I will not be reduced by this. And just the whole book is just full of little snippets like that, which you can just, like, embed in your brain and help you be, like, a better human being. And, yeah. I also read I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings after that, so I'm gradually getting a better understanding of her life and the experiences she's been through, which is a lot of stuff. And I just feel like I just really want to continue to read her work and explore her stuff. And just, I'm signed up on the Angelou train. I'm on for the journey, and she is incredible. And if you would like some mini snippets of wisdom, read this book. Finally, we have the book that I finished last night, which is Jem and the Holograms, Showtime, #1. This was sent to me by my friend Mark because he loves Jem and the Holograms, and we're going to be doing a podcast on them, so he sent me some stuff so I can, like, familiarize myself with them. This is everything I love. Let's just take a moment to appreciate, like, the aesthetic of this. It's all, like, glitter and pink and purple and all these, like, fabulous, like, visual designs for characters. Like, look at Pizzazz. How flipping cool does Pizzazz look? And just, like, the story that is just so far, there's the two cute girls who like each other but are, like, torn between band loyalties, and there's just, like, this whole band thing, and then there's, like, the hologram aspect of it, and I feel like Jem and the Holograms is something that I'm really gonna like. So, as my first dip into the comic, I have the other comics to read, and I'm really enjoying it. That's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. These were just books which I've read recently. I didn't think I could make, like, a full-length video on, so I just thought, let's do a little quick snippety thing. I'd love to hear your thoughts on them if you've read any of them, or if you have, like, recommendations based off of them, that would also be great. Or just give me your thoughts. Do you fancy reading any of them based on my reviews? Any of these things. Hope you're having a super duper fabulous day, and I will see you next time.